Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are sinking our teeth into one of the most delicious and one of the most profound symbols of Mexican culture, Pan de Muerto. You've almost definitely seen it, but I guarantee its story is richer, more complex, and way more diverse than you could ever imagine. So, when you think of Pan de Muerto, this is probably the image that pops into your head, right? This is the classic from Mexico City. It's a soft, sweet bun, usually flavored with orange blossom water, and it has those little strips of dough on top that look like bones. And of course, it's absolutely showered in sugar. This is the version that's become a global icon for the Dia de Muertos celebration.
But what if I told you that iconic bun is just the tip of the iceberg? I mean, seriously, across Mexico, this bread of the dead takes on dozens of incredible forms. We're talking different shapes, different flavors, and different colors that each tell a unique story about their home region. So today, we're going to go on a little journey to uncover the amazing diversity behind this single secret loaf of bread.
Okay, so before we start our tour across Mexico, we really need to understand the blueprint. Let's break down all the rich symbolism that is packed into that classic loaf we all recognize. It's like we're decoding a delicious secret. So at its very heart, pan de muerto is a type of pan dulce, or sweet bread, made specifically for Dia de Muertos. And it's not just for eating. It's a centerpiece of the ofrenda. That's the altar that families create to welcome the spirits of their loved ones back home. It's believed that the spirits, who are exhausted from their long journey, don't eat the bread itself, but they absorb its essence to regain their strength. And the texture? Oh, it's soft, rich, and tender. Think somewhere between a challah and a brioche. Now, this is what's so cool. Every single element of this bread is a deliberate symbol. This is not just a decorated bun. It's an edible story. The round dome shape? That represents a grave mound. Those 4 strips of dough on top are the huesos, or bones, and they're often placed in a cross to point to the 4 cardinal directions. And that little ball right in the center? That represents the skull. Finally, the whole thing is covered in sugar, which is a sweet, beautiful reminder of the cherished memories of those who have passed on. A bread that's this symbolic has to have a powerful origin story, right? Well, it actually has 2, and they represent this fascinating clash between a dramatic folktale and the historical record. And this just brilliantly illustrates the complex cultural fusion that really defines modern Mexico. So on one hand, you have this incredibly dramatic, almost cinematic folktale. It claims that in a pre-Hispanic ritual, a maiden was sacrificed and her still-beating heart was put in a pot of amaranth. The legend says the Spanish conquistadors were horrified by this and forced the natives to replace the heart with a sweet bread instead. It's a powerful story, but there's no real historical evidence for it. On the other hand, historians point to a much clearer ancestor, the Spanish pan de animas, or soul bread, a European tradition that was brought over to the Americas. So here's the crucial point. The fundamental ingredients of pan de muerto, we're talking wheat, cane sugar, eggs, butter, all of those things were brought over during the Columbian Exchange. The Spanish had their own tradition for All Saints and All Souls Day where they would bake these soul breads and leave them as offerings on graves. When this practice was introduced in colonial Mexico, it just merged with these really powerful pre-Hispanic beliefs about honoring the dead. The indigenous peoples adopted the practice, but over centuries, they completely transformed it into something uniquely and beautifully Mexican. Okay, now for the really fun part. We are going on a whirlwind tour across Mexico to see just a few examples of how this tradition has absolutely blossomed. You can forget the one-size-fits-all idea. This is where the story gets really, really interesting. Our first stop is Oaxaca, which is a total culinary capital. Here, it's called pan de yema, or yolk bread, and for good reason. The dough is incredibly rich with eggs. It's flavored with anise, and instead of sugar, it's covered in toasted sesame seeds, which, and this is beautiful, represent the tears shed for the departed. It's often served with some amazing, rich Oaxacan hot chocolate. Now let's head over to Michoacan, where the bread becomes much more literal. It's called pan de animas, or soul bread, and it's shaped into human figures to represent the souls being honored. The bakers will carefully fold the arms across the chest, like in a position of prayer. These figures usually have a simple golden brown finish, and they're laid on the altar among marigold petals, which are meant to guide the souls back home. Down on the Yucatan Peninsula, things get incredibly vibrant. The bread keeps that classic bone and skull shape, but it's covered in this spectacular, glossy red glaze. It's made with orange juice and sugar, and that striking color is meant to symbolize the vitality of life. It stands out so beautifully on the ofrenda. And in the state of Guanajuato, the bread takes on this almost sculptural quality. It's amazing. Here, bakers often shape the dough into animals, like sheep, rabbits, or horses. These little creations are then covered in a thick, pure white glaze, made with powdered sugar and lemon juice that hardens into a smooth shell. And the decoration is so delicate and precise. Just a simple cross made of pink or red-colored sugar is carefully sprinkled right on top. Okay, so we've seen human figures, we've seen red glazes, sesame seeds, and animal shapes. With all of this incredible variety, what is the single thread that ties every single one of these breads together? It's the purpose. It's all about the purpose. Whether it's a simple Oaxacan bun representing tears or an elegant Guanajuato sheep, every single loaf is a tangible act of love. It's a connection to those who have passed, and it's made to be placed on the ofrenda as a beautiful offering that says you are home and you are remembered. The meaning of this bread continues to grow and evolve. Back in the 1970s, as part of the Chicano cultural movement in the United States, Pan de Muerte was embraced as a powerful symbol of heritage and identity. More recently, of course, movies like Disney's Coco have made it a global ambassador for Mexican culture. And its symbolism is so powerful that it's even found a place in social activism. Public altars in cities like Los Angeles sometimes serve as protests, using Pan de Muerto to honor and draw attention to victims of social injustice like police brutality. It's a truly living tradition. This quote from anthropologist Stanley Brandes just perfectly captures the beautiful complexity of Pan de Muerto's origins. He points out that the celebration doesn't revolve around a native staple like a tortilla, but a European one, bread. And that's such a profound observation. It brilliantly summarizes the syncretism at the heart of this tradition. It's an indigenous worldview celebrated through a colonial medium that has been transformed into something entirely new and uniquely Mexican. The story of Pan de Muerto is, of course, specific to Mexico, but the impulse behind it, that is universal. Food is memory. It's how we keep stories alive, and it's how we honor the people we've loved and lost. So, as we've explored this incredible tradition, it leaves us with a question for you to think about. What food connects you to those you remember?